Okay, so the plan here is very simple. I haven't really scripted this. Basically, what I'm going to say to you is that philosophy is dead, ultimately. The reason being, metaphysics, as we've known for centuries and centuries and centuries, no longer really has any underpinning. Our search for truth, our search for kind of the overarching meaning, as it were, or the underlying cause, is really just a sort of wild goose chase. And of course, many of you are going to be thinking, that's a load of rubbish, this guy's insane, this guy's an idiot. And you're entitled to those opinions. And if I was me a couple of months ago, I probably would have agreed with you. However, upon closer inspection, most of our beliefs are underpinned by particular foundations, be they the difference between the appearance of an object and its intrinsic reality, the essence of a person or human nature, etc., etc. All of these ideas we have no fundamental empirical evidence for. And there'll probably be many scientists thinking, yes, we need to have evidence. But then even the quest for knowledge in science, which is supposedly a neutral standpoint by which to sort of look at the world, is heavily based on and bound up with our own agenda, our own sort of wants and needs. Different societies would have a different science in a sense. It doesn't mean that the physical universe necessarily has to change, but the world that we see around us, the kind of world that we live in, changes all the time. It changes with the new paradigms that we come to understand, and it changes us. I think we've literally just got it wrong. The philosophy that we've been using for centuries is actually just a load of rubbish when it comes to actually understanding the world we live in, and it's reached breaking point ultimately, and we've still got people running around believing that there's some idea somewhere out there that's going to save them, that's going to deliver them to the ultimate truth, to the ultimate reality, that they're going to be, somehow their eyes are going to be opened and they're going to be saved. And I think the more and more I come to absorb this idea that the truth isn't out there, that we create our own truth from within, the more I realise that we're being sold a lie. That we're being told to expect and to wait for something, when actually we need to participate in it. Our language plays a huge part, and it's very difficult to get away from foundational language, even when you're trying to explain something like this. So I've probably already made quite a few statements that sound quite foundational, and it's almost unavoidable using English language. We're already dividing everything between what is and what only appears to be. What's the nature of something? What's the internal aspect, or what's the intrinsic kind of essence? All these kinds of words are very natural to us. But we've reached a point in our development, in our understanding, where we need to move forward. We need to go further than we've gone before. We need to say, enough of this. Search for truth, search for meaning, search for knowledge. We need to move onto something that's actually scarier, because it requires us actually doing something, and that is making things better for this world, for the people around us, for the community we live with, for ourselves, for each other. And that's as simple as it gets. And you say, well, what's better? We've been defining what's better since we started talking, and so we will continue to do so, and we need to work out what is better for us as a species. And I think now is the time to really acknowledge those paradigm shifts, really acknowledge the fact that we're not standing on anything solid anymore, that we thought we used to think we were. There are no skyhooks, as Richard Rorty said, and basically we've got to live in this world without the certainty of the foundational truths, the existence of God as a sort of being in the sky, or the existence of science as an ultimate truth. Let's practically try and understand the world, but never assume that we have the understanding of the world. And I think that this is actually a far more healthy situation for the human mind. I think if we project forward and see the coming disasters that seem to be fast approaching these days, then we're going to need a new mindset in order to tackle those problems. We're going to need a new set of tools, as it were, philosophical tools and political tools to deal with the situation in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And I think that changing our philosophical outlook from the quest for knowledge and the search for truth to the much more sort of rudimentary quest for making things better in whatever way we can, and whatever that means to us as a community, is the best way forward for humanity and for us personally. Now, a lot of those guiding principles that we've had from the religions handed down, things like do unto others as you'd have done unto yourself, things like giving, it's better to give than to receive, these kind of wisdom literature, you might say, or just wisdom sayings and things, and no doubt they're important, and we need to take them on board when we sort of reinvent our politics in this new era. It doesn't mean we need to take them as dogmatic statements that tell us the exact reality and that's what life is actually about, but we need to actually let those sayings work on us inside, internally, let them challenge us personally to do more, to care more, without the cop-out, of saying, not my problem.